Hello, folks, and welcome back to NL Now on NTV. As always, I am your host, Gary Wheeseltin. Today on the show, we have two wonderful guests for you. We have a rising star in our province's music industry, the wonderful Paige Penney, and in the interview chair, I'll be speaking with Precious Familusi. He's the co-founder of Black Lives Matter NL. And also, I wanted to mention, if you want to check out some exclusive sneak peeks at who some future guests might be and some fun behind-the-scenes pictures, you can check out our Twitter account at JTNLNowP, and you'll find all sorts of cool stuff there. Let's get things started right now, though. Please welcome to the NL Now musical guest set, Paige Penney.
Watch out for your step when you walk away. You could be stepping on a heart you once loved. When you walk away, remember to look down and see who you're leaving behind. I met you on a snowy day in New York City. Outside that diner was a strange place for me to be. You coughed and mumbled something about snowflakes being little gifts from God. I smiled as you walked away, and I heard you say, watch out for your step when you walk away. You could be stepping on a heart you once loved. When you walk away, remember to look down and see who you're leaving behind. Next day again, I saw you shopping for oranges on Canal Street. I said, hey, you said, hey, fancy meeting you here. You handed me a 4012, the best that nature has to offer. I smiled and put it in my bag. After a while we got a place of our own. We put our oranges in a green wicker bowl. After a while that grew old, and you said that you had to go. And I said, watch out for your step when you walk away. You could be stepping on a heart you once loved. When you walk away, remember to look down and see who you're leaving behind. 'Cause it's me who you're leaving behind. Yeah, it's me who you're leaving behind.
Welcome back to NL Now on NTV. Here today in the interview chair, I have Precious Familusi. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, so I just want to start off by asking you, for those people watching the show who might not know who you are, maybe you can just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Precious Familusi. I was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. I've lived in different parts of the world, but I find myself here in Newfoundland. I am happy to be here. I am a graduate from MUN. I studied business, and I am the co-founder of Black Lives Matter Newfoundland.
Yeah, so you're a co-founder of Black Lives Matter Newfoundland. Could you tell us a little bit about how that organization got started?
So last year we sadly saw the killing of George Floyd, the brutal murder of George Floyd, and then me and a couple of friends got together to start up Black Lives Matter. So we have 3 co-founders,
Okay.
me, Precious Familusi, Brian Amardi, and Raven Khadija.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have 2 other members as well, Nuna Towe and Rio as well. So we together as a collective run Black Lives Matter Newfoundland. And when we started, we were able to get guidance from 3 Mon professors actually, Dr. Suleiman Giwa, as well as Dr. Paul Ajay, and as well as Dr. Dolores. So they were able to guide us and we were able to start the organization. The first event we had was a rally, which was down by the Confederation building, and it was powerful and amazing. And we're so happy to be the ones to organize it as well. And then from there, we have kept the initiative of keeping the conversation going of what anti-Black racism looks here in Newfoundland. And we've also talked about ways we can help the Black community as well.
Yeah, so did you have any concerns at first when you were starting the organization and I guess preparing for that first rally at Confederation Building?
Oh, there was so many concerns. We can each tell you that we had sleepless night, to be honest, because it was sadly, it was also the time where COVID just started.
Yes.
And we're really concerned about community spread as well. And we're really worried about the pandemic. But we saw this as a chance that if anti-Black racism was such a big issue that we had to talk about it. And if we were able to put in the right social distancing between folks, then we could still safely have the rally. Sadly enough, we weren't able to actually get the proper approval because the original plan was to have a march from the CBC Tower to Confederation Building, but because we didn't have the proper approval from government, we decided it was better for everyone's safety to just do it at the rally. And even to the day of, I could tell you, like, we're like, just before we started, we're still trying to decide what are we facing? Is this going to go well? Are people not going to turn up? And at 10 o'clock, a lot of people weren't really coming. So we're like, oh my God, did this fail?
Yes.
But it turned out really, really well. Like, it was so awesome. And it was so glad because it showed that this was a topic people really wanted to talk about. And this was something that we could keep the conversation going and we needed to address here in Newfoundland as well.
Yeah. Now, you said you were originally, of course, born in Nigeria, and now you're here in Newfoundland. Now, what would you say were some of the differences or biggest challenges from coming from Nigeria to Newfoundland?
So, before coming to Newfoundland, actually, I've had a bit of a travel around the world. So I was born in Nigeria. I can give you a brief history. I was born in Nigeria. Then when I was around 9, 10, I moved to Kuwait, Middle East, which is the Middle East. Then I moved to, after living there for 5 years, I moved to London, England. And one day suddenly I come back from school and my mom was like, we're moving to Newfoundland. I'm like, Newfoundland? Like, where is that? Because I had friends in Manitoba and in Saskatchewan and in Toronto, but Newfoundland of all places. Honestly, I thought it was a different country than Canada. But after a few Google searches, you see the Jelly Bean downtown houses. You're like, oh, this place is actually really pretty. And that's how I found myself here. And in terms of the difference, when I think back to Newfoundland and London or Nigeria, obviously it's different in terms of weather, definitely. Interesting story, I actually came during Dark NL.
Oh, okay.
So I was there sitting in my room and watching a movie on my laptop and I see all the electricity out. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, what just happened? Super confused. But turned out we had Dark NL. So it was a really great introduction to Newfoundland.
Yes. Now, I also wanted to say congratulations. I saw that a couple months ago you had the opportunity of co-hosting the TEDx Harborside Park event. Would you like to tell us how you got involved in that?
Yeah, so I've always been a big fan of TEDx. Everywhere around the world, I've always loved seeing TEDx talks. I've always loved watching TEDx talks on YouTube, and I've always wanted to be involved more. So my first involvement was in TEDx as just a volunteer in 2019, I believe. Yes. So in 2019, I was just a volunteer for TEDx. I really wanted to get involved with TEDx, and so the following year in 2020, I got asked to be one of the co-hosts, which was like, I was actually away in Halifax visiting my sister, and I got asked to be a co-host, and I was like, hysterical. I was freaking out because I wasn't expecting it.
Yes.
But it was a great opportunity. The overall theme was creating space.
Okay.
And we talked about different topics from exercise science to going to space and how we can change our perspective, and to actually analyzing the social spacing and always asking ourselves whose voices is not being heard now. And we talked about the history of music and representation in music. And it was honestly an awesome time. I was still literally thinking about it today because I have like random flashbacks. I was like, oh my God, that was like 2 months ago, but it was one of the best time of my life, really.
Yeah, I know. Sounds like a great variety of topics that the speakers had and everything. It looked like a great event.
It was really awesome. I was just so glad to be part of it.
We will be right back after this quick commercial break here on NTV with more from Precious Familusi. Welcome back to NL Now on NTV. We are going to get right back into the conversation we started right before the commercial break with Precious Familusi. So now I know that you're also a great advocate for other issues, and I think I heard one of the things is that you were a part of a group last fall that helped provide backpacks to different families in our community. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
So one of the initiative of Black Lives Matter Newfoundland is to support Black families, and we did a program called Backpacks NL. And in Backpacks NL, we raise money for and use the money towards sponsoring backpacks for Black families that are not able to financially have it during, especially when it was COVID season, where a lot of people were affected financially by the loss of jobs and closure everywhere. So we came together and decided what way can really help Black families, and it was around the time of back to school. So we thought of one of our founder, Raven and Nuna, thought of the idea of backpacks, which is a way to give back to community as well. And so from the success from last year really motivated us, and we're actually continuing it this year as well. So we're going to be we've been working on it, and we're super excited because we have a lot of partnership coming on this year. So we're going to be extending the amount of families we supported last year to be at least 5 times bigger this year. And we're honestly super excited how everyone's come together to support us. And we can't wait to release all the details, but it's definitely going to be out on our social media.
Yeah, sounds great. Now, we're going to do something now I like to do with all of my guests, and it's sort of a little game called Get to Know Me. So I'll ask you 5 questions, and you can come back with the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay,
Your favorite food?
Spaghetti.
Your favorite song?
It's a Nigerian song, but it is Wizkid, and it is, African Giant, Burna Boy.
What's one of the favorite places that you've been?
Tricky. Favorite place I've been? It would probably be. I love to travel, so this is a tricky question for me. Favorite place I've been is. I would say I actually really love London. I loved growing up in London. I love living in London, so London, UK.
And now, how about somewhere that you'd really like to visit that you haven't been before?
I would love to visit Tokyo, Japan.
Okay. Yes.
I would. I thought I was gonna go to the Olympics before the whole COVID pandemic,
Right.
and I really had big aspirations of being in the stadium, hopefully watching. But sadly, it's not possible now. But I would have loved to go to Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah. And now, finally, what would you say would be your dream job?
My dream job would be to be an advocate. I love to advocate for people. To find a way to advocate full-time for folks in terms of breaking down barriers to accessible education, advocating for the Black community, advocating for people that don't have the voice to advocate for themselves.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Precious, for coming in today. It's been a great time having you here.
Thank you so much, and this was really fun.
Yes. Now, one last thing before we go. If some of the people who are watching at home want to support Black Lives Matter and don't really know how, or Black Lives Matter Newfoundland, any of those organizations, what would be your best advice for them?
So to support Black Lives Matter itself, you can check out the Black Lives Matter Canada page, and to support Black Lives Matter in Newfoundland, you can check out our Facebook page or just send us a message on Facebook or Instagram at Black Lives Matter Newfoundland. And we normally do accept donations through Interact, and you can get all those details when you contact us.
Well, that all sounds great. Once again, thank you very much for coming in today. Welcome back to NL Now. Here with me today on our musical guest set is one of our province's rising stars in the music industry. She's recently picked up a couple Music NL nominations and a Canadian Folk Award nomination. Paige Penney, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Gary. How are you doing?
I'm good. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for coming in today and performing for us.
Thanks for having me. It's so much fun. I love being here.
Now, I want to chat first a little bit about your debut EP, which came out a little while back. Now, I hear that it was actually recorded in the same studio where Taylor Swift recorded her first album. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Taylor Swift is one of my favorite artists of all time. And when I wanted to record my EP, when I had enough songs to record an EP, I was like, you know what? Let's make it big. Let's go down to Nashville and record it down there. So I did an Indiegogo campaign to raise some funds to go down there. And it was absolutely incredible. Just looking at like her platinum record on the wall where I was recording was so cool.
Yeah. Now, I also know that you had the chance to co-write a song with the wonderful Alan Doyle, and he had a cameo in the music video for that song. So, how was that whole experience?
Yeah, that was so amazing. Alan is so awesome, and he is actually an amazing actor. He is so cool. He played the cabbie in the music video for my song Shooting Star, and he is actually hilarious, and he plays such a good cabbie. Who knew?
Now, not only did you work with Alan Doyle, but on another one of your songs, the title track from your EP, you got to work with the folk trio, The Once, on that tune. So, I mean, how does it feel looking back and you're just here starting out your musical career that you've already gotten to work with some of the best in the local music scene?
I'm so grateful. It feels so amazing. And, The Once, they are incredible. And, they're amazing singers, all of them. They're amazing people, so I'm so blessed to work with them.
So, Paige, you've already accomplished all these wonderful things so far, but what's next for you?
Oh, you guys will wait and see. I'm gonna come up with a new song soon. You're gonna hear it today. It's gonna be maybe by the time this is out, it will be already out. So go jam it, and definitely more shows to come. So stay tuned, everybody.
Well, that's great. Now, if people want to find out more about you or check out some of your music, where can they do that?
Yeah, my Instagram is paige.penny, my Facebook is Paige Penney, and my TikTok is Paige Penney, so go check it out, and I'm always active on there.
Well, that all sounds great. Once again, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Gary. It was awesome.
Well, folks, we are almost at the end of our show for this morning, but don't go away, because right after this very short commercial break, we will have another song from Paige Penney. Don't miss it. Welcome back to NL Now on NTV. Yeah. Well, Gary asked me to come out here this morning to close out the show, so I'd really like to thank you all for tuning in this morning, and I'd like to thank our wonderful special guests, Precious Familusi and Paige Penney. Make sure you come back again next Saturday morning at 10:30 Newfoundland time for another all-new edition of the show. Well, we are going to close things out again here today right now with another song. Please welcome Paige Penney.
Please say something now. I can't stand the sound of my own thoughts. I have haven't figured out how to untie these tingling knots, but I got my fingers crossed that we won't always be this lost. It's not our fault that stars get crossed, 'cause every day somewhere there's always somebody crying, and every day somewhere there's always somebody trying to keep their fingers crossed. In my mind, we're standing on a beach in December. I always want to remember the day we drew our hearts in the sand, wrote our initials, then you held my hand. But I got my fingers crossed that we won't always be this lost. It's not our fault that stars get crossed, 'cause every day somewhere there's always somebody crying, and every day somewhere there's always somebody trying to keep their fingers crossed. We can't rely on space or time for our dreams to come true. Tonight I'm gonna wish for luck, fingers crossed I'll be lucky with you. I'll be lucky with you, 'cause every day somewhere there's always somebody crying, and every day somewhere there's always somebody trying to keep their fingers crossed. I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'll keep my fingers crossed.